Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia 188. My father is the number one hero. Now this chapter was insane. Horikoshi has given us only 12 pages this week, but the ending made this chapter. It was so good. Really, really good. So carrying on from last chapter, actually first, before we actually talk about the chapter, the reason why I released this chapter today on Saturday instead of Friday was because on Friday I was actually doing a collaboration event, kind of stream on Discord alongside Grim Reaper and a few other guys talking about Nanatsu no Taizai. So if you want to see that, and please go see that, go and head over to Grim Reaper's channel. That's Grim Reaper with two M's, so Grimm and then Reaper. I'd put it in the video. I might put it in the video. Let's see how it goes. I might even put a link in my little chat box thing. What's it called? The description. Yeah, so let's just talk about this chapter. So carrying on from last chapter, it seems Endeavor has it looks like he used his flame like spiderweb technique on the falling building, as well as I think hitting High End himself, but he uses these flames in a very creative way, like using them almost like wire, slicing and dicing the building and breaking it down into small debris. And this then allows Hawks to use his feathers to divert the falling debris away from causing further damage, which I thought was an awesome combination. And really good to see that Endeavor had faith in someone else. You know, he smashed the building into like tiny pieces, kind of knowing that Hawks would be able to use his ability to then divert the rubble away from any further damage or any further danger. So while High End focuses on Hawks and he's just there and he's like birthday, I don't know why he's just there like birthday, but the two other support heroes we saw last chapter pop up trying to aid Endeavor. However, this prompts High End to use another one of his long line of quirks. This makes it his sixth quirk, which is some form of division quirk or a storage quirk, which allows him to shoot white bodies out of himself, to expel these white bodies out of himself, which can attack and such. But I don't think they have any form of cognition or rational mindset to them. So after seeing this, Endeavor continues to analyze High End, noticing that he has now shown to have at least 6 quirks. We've seen him fly alongside those shoulder jets he has. We've seen he has transforming arms. He's like Luffy. He can extend his arms and he can contract them as well. We've seen his muscle augmentation, which we assume is Muscular's quirk. He's also very powerful, able to punch through like solid concrete walls. We've seen his regenerative capacity, and we've seen that now he can either divide or he's able to store other bodies within him and expel them at will. So as High End regenerates his arms, Endeavor realizes that the Nomu is capable of rational thought, separating the other heroes from Endeavor so that they can fight one-on-one, which is why he divides himself into those multiple beings, or he expels those other beings from himself. And I also loved how Endeavor makes mention that his heat capacity is being reached. You know, he has a threshold for how hot he can get, and that's is very close to him being reached at this point in the chapter, which is something I appreciate due to the expected drawbacks of a flame-based quirk. You know, he might have a flame-based quirk, but he's still human, and the added heat capacity to his body and the heat storage affects him negatively. And what I also loved was that we got to see Hawks use some of his longer feathers as essentially swords, striking 2 of the white monsters that High End expelled from his body. A really creative way to use his quirk. I really enjoyed that, but I don't think he actually sliced them apart. His feathers may be strong and flexible, but so far we've not been told, or we haven't seen any example that states that his feathers have a sharp edge or anything like that. So I think he struck the white Nomus essentially, but he didn't kill them. He didn't slice them in 2. So High End then asks if Endeavor has finished shooting his heat rays, or if he simply can't shoot anymore. So Endeavor is shocked by High End's like perceptiveness and mentally confirms the drawback of his quirk, kind of like to the audience, which is better than what they do in Bleach, which is ha ha ha, you found out that my quirk or my Bankai doesn't allow me to do this, and I'm going to talk to you about it for some strange reason. So the drawback to his quirk obviously is that his external temperature as well as his core temperature rises, which, and if you have any knowledge of physiology, essentially what it is his vessels in his extremities So his legs, his arms, anywhere where he's exercising, his vessels dilate, so blood flows usually downwards in the heat to your legs, because that's just, nature of gravity. His blood pressure drops, heart rate increases, and it becomes increasingly more difficult to distribute the blood to where it's needed, especially because you need to focus on brain blood flow. Brain blood flow is usually almost always level, except in the heat, which is why people faint and stuff like that. Heat syncope occurs in the heat. So there's more to this kind of hypothermia, but eventually even muscular activity, I was about to sneeze there, even muscular activity becomes uncoordinated, and the perception of physical strain increases as well, which is what Endeavor is afraid of. That's why he doesn't want to push himself to that state, because essentially he's just going to become, he's going to undergo heat exhaustion, which is a point he doesn't really want to get to, because at that point he'd just be getting wailed on by High End. However, Endeavor also knows he can't hold back against High End, especially because he doesn't know how many quirks the turd has stored up inside him. So he's just there like, shit, I gotta go in, otherwise this guy's gonna kick my ass no matter which way we do this. So we then see flashbacks of Endeavor's family while he thinks about his quirk's weakness, and whenever we see flashbacks, it either means the hero's about to go balls to the wall and kick some ass, or it means the hero's about to get his ass kicked. By the end of this chapter, we figured out which of the two it was. So it makes sense here when he's thinking about his quirk's weakness why he found a wife with an ice-based quirk, so that he could create a child who could control their internal external temperature. It adds a little bit more depth to his original. That's my phone, but it adds a little bit more depth to his original. I just need to find a good. I want to create this kind of quirk marriage just so that I could get someone with two of the quirks, and they'd be awesome, and they'd be a good competitor for All Might's legacy. But this is better because this is he understands his own quirk so well that he realizes that he needed an ice-based quirk so that someone, his child, who would have both the quirks could regulate their temperature. That's the key thing here, and it's also why he didn't train his other three kids up, because they would have the same issue. Well, not the same issue as Endeavor, but they're all ice-based by the looks of things if you go by the color of their hair. So he didn't train up his other three kids, and we see that he has three other kids. We see, I think her name is Fuyume, which is the older sister. We see Natsu, which is the older brother. And then we see another younger brother, which I assume is still older than Shoto. But this doesn't make what Endeavor did to his family any less scummy. Endeavor then does actually unleash his Ogi, or his strongest technique. He concentrates a flame beam kind of in the shape of his body, a brilliant light diffusing through the air. People from afar just looking at him, and they can't keep focused on him because he's just so bright. And he just shoots this high temperature beam at High End, and he totally incinerates High End. Only it turns out that High End is so intelligent at this point that he detected the danger and somehow tore off and threw away his neck above. So essentially his head and his neck, which allowed him to Endeavor kind of noticed late, and Hawks is just there like, shit, you need to dodge. But obviously, much like in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Piccolo's always shouting dodge, and the dodge never occurs. So it turns out that High End actually manages to impale and slice at Endeavor. I think Endeavor gets impaled through the gut and sliced up the face. Now, this is all while Hawks, Fuyume, Natsu, and Shoto, and the teachers of UA watch in horror. Endeavor gets a huge gash up his face, losing his eye in the process. Actually, his left eye, I think it is. Yeah, let me just remember. Yeah, it was his left eye. And coincidentally, he loses the same eye which Shoto kind of got boiling waters thrown over. So I think it's on the same side of the face. Meanwhile, Aizawa tells Eri to go back to her room, having just witnessed Endeavor's defeat on TV. I think it's on live TV, alongside a clearly distraught All Might who grasps at his old wound, as he wishes he could do something to help, which is what it looks like. But he's also probably reminiscing about his own injuries and how kind of he was also in a fight where he had to go balls to the wall, and he sustained life-changing injuries, which is essentially the same as what Endeavor's got right now. He's lost an eye to High End. So Aizawa prepares to go to aid Todoroki, he says. He says, I'm going to go to Todoroki's location. Now, people assumed that he was going to go to Shoto and like console him or something. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think that's what he was talking about at all. He said he was going to go to Todoroki's location, i.e. he's going to go and provide aid to Endeavor, because Endeavor just got his ass whooped. And this is all whilst Class 1A they kind of just look at Shoto, unsure of what to say or do to him. And Shoto just looks at his father on TV and swears that he will become a hero that his dad can be proud of, and he'll become the greatest of them all. A good thing to aspire towards, but that's going to be Deku, my boy. So, meanwhile, High End is just sat down, bored, and looking for a challenge. And I was like, I hope Aizawa gets there. But even if Aizawa gets there, this is coming on to like next chapter material. Even if Aizawa gets there, we've only ever seen him shut down one quirk at a time. And I can't remember what Aizawa did with the original Nomu. But I'm pretty sure even then he can only shut down one quirk at a time. So he's going to have difficulty fighting that Nomu by himself unless Hawks somehow pulls out some major like ass pull or something like that. Because we know that Hawks isn't exactly the most physical fighter, as he's already shown in this fight. So what I'm hoping is, and I really hope this is the case, is that Endeavor's moment, this is kind of an Endeavor's moment to show his grit. That's what I hope. I hope he persists even though he's been heavily wounded. And I hope this moment kind of reflects the moments when All Might endeavored beyond his limits and he went above and beyond what he needed to do. You know, like when he got damaged by All For One and he carried on and his guts were spilling out, but he still fought. I hope this is Endeavor's moment and it reflects All Might's moment of being a complete hero. So I want Endeavor to show his worth as the number one hero and not to fall at his first major hurdle. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Go check out Grim Reaper's discussion that we had. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in a bit.